I'm a nasty woman because I believe that I'm in charge of all of the choices in my body, including what I do with body hair.
I'm a nasty woman because I'm Persian. So sometimes I have a mustache and sometimes I don't.
Magic.
Magic.
I'm Erin Brown.
And I am Nagar Fanouni.
And today on Nasty Women Radio, we are talking about body hair.
Oh, yeah.
So you did some research, you scholarly.
I did do some research. It's actually something that I've really been wanting to learn about for a while because I've been struggling with my bikini line. And I have really dark hair and really dark, thick hair. And in the summertime, I basically live in a bikini and I don't like to shave. So I've been having, so I have to like wait those, 4 weeks in between bikini waxes. And there are some days where it's like, I've got like spiders. Yeah. And then there are other days where I'm like, why do I care about this? Why is this an issue? And then, and then other days where I'm like, fuck it, I'm getting laser. And I'm just kind of like all over the place with it. And then sometimes I get really, really weird and just like sit like crisscross applesauce style and just tweeze my bikini hairs. So we've got like a whole thing. Shaving for me has been a thing since I was a kid. Like body hair has been an issue that has always been prominent for me since I was very young, since I started hitting puberty at 11, because I'm Middle Eastern. So I am hairier than most women. And I do have, darker, coarser hair. And so it's always been something that's kind of been on my radar. I have a friend, Rachel, whom you know, who never shaves her armpits. And she's like, I don't even notice it. And I'm like, yeah, because you're blonde and your hair is like super fine. Like if I didn't do that, you would notice it. Like, you know what I mean? So it has been a dialogue for me for a very long time. So I was really interested in learning kind of the history of body hair removal and why we did it. And what I learned was that it's kind of always been a thing since the beginning of time. Or the beginning of the human race, really. And that how presumptuous that the beginning of the human race is the beginning of time. Who the fuck do we think we are? Since the beginning of humans, it's kind of, hair removal has kind of always been a thing, but it's been for different reasons in different cultures throughout different periods of time. So when we think about like cave people, right? When we think about like Neanderthals, we've always seen them sort of depicted, covered in hair, but archaeologists are now starting to kind of discuss that like that probably wouldn't have been the case. They probably would have removed their hair from a safety standpoint. So how did they do it?
Yeah.
So what I discovered or what I read was that they would take a stone and whittle it down to a sharp angle and then slide the stone down the length of the body wherever they were trying to get rid of the hair. So it was a painful process. It wasn't an easy process. Or they would use different natural objects like shells as tweezers to remove body hair. But so they did it so that if you found yourself in an altercation with another entity, there would be less for them to grab.
Oh, that makes sense.
And yes, it was functional. But over time, and we'll move forward to ancient Egypt, they made it easier to remove hair, right? This is when waxing kind of started. This is where like they would do beeswax items and like sugar wax type of things. So it became easier to remove body hair. And in that period of time, it was very like in vogue because of people like Cleopatra. So it was really what started to happen when it became less of like function and more about fashion or more about class, as it was in like ancient Rome. It was usually because of some sort of icon, whoever was in charge, whoever, that was the person who kind of got to decide what was acceptable or what was beautiful or what was clean. So, Cleopatra, like, and the men would remove their hair too. So they would leave the eyebrows, but like everything else would get removed. It was considered cleaner. It was considered beautiful. It was considered high class. The same in ancient Rome. It was a signifier of cleanliness and a signifier of class, but only for women. And so this is where it gets really interesting, is that like in some cultures, it was okay, it was clean and acceptable and not an indicator of class for men to have body hair, but for women to remove their body hair was considered a signifier of class and cleanliness. And it seems really arbitrary, but I'm sure that it had something to do with having the means to do it in the first place.
Yeah.
Or with having the ability to be preoccupied with that as opposed to like being a working person, right? Like if you were considered of a lower class in ancient Egypt or ancient Rome, you had shit to do, right? Yeah, right.
like not die and feed yourself.
Exactly. Yeah, feed yourself, feed your kids, you know, there was labor intensive stuff going on. And so that was sort of like a luxury that you couldn't afford either like financially or time-wise. There were some resources that were not available to you. And so I would imagine that was why hair removal was a signifier of class and of course beauty, because those things got very heavily intertwined in those ancient times. Which is, there is some, I think, undertones of misogyny there, because why was it only geared towards women? Like, why was it okay for men but not for women? Specifically because if we're talking about in cave people times, that it was a measure of safety, wouldn't it have been the same in like ancient Rome?
Yeah.
Because these people are like actually hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't they not have wanted their beards,
right,
yanked on? Things like that. I feel like it makes you very susceptible.
Are you suggesting that men are asking for their beards to be pulled?
Yes. Everything and make yourself slippery, and then nobody will attack you, okay? It's your own fault for how you show up.
Oh my God.
So then what's interesting is that in European sort of, I guess these more sort of in the 1500s, 1600s, during the Elizabethan era, she decided that hair on the face should be groomed, which meant eyebrows shaped, and I know twisted mustache, no, eyebrows shaped and mustaches removed, but leg hair and pubic hair was fine.
Okay.
Because, she was the queen, so she got to decide that. Okay. So
now, are we drawing back on eyebrows, or we're just going eyebrow less?
I think it's eyebrows groomed. Shaped. Yeah. So not,
they're not adding a drag brow.
I don't think so.
I wish that's what they did in the Elizabethan era.
Maybe they did. They all had kind of like the thinness going on, right? And then now we start to kind of fast forward into, 1700s, 1800s. What started to happen was the advent of modern razors.
Okay.
And because women's fashion started to change, like if you think about prior to the 1920s, fashion for women was long sleeves and long dresses.
Yeah.
So if you had body hair, it wasn't visible.
Yeah.
And so you couldn't market razors and depilatory.
Nair.
Do you remember that? Do you remember the smell of it? I'll never forget the smell of it.
I have it in my house right now.
Oh my God. It used to always burn me. It used to always like leave bumps and like burns and things on me. Do you like it?
I don't know. I thought I would try it again because I don't like shaving my bikini line. Same sort of conversation you were having with yourself. But it didn't work. So I feel like, maybe it was a user error. I read all the instructions. I stunk up my bathroom. It still smells bad. But it didn't burn, but it also didn't work. So I don't know if their formula is less intense now, but then also doesn't work. Or if I just screwed it up. I don't know. Sorry, Nair.
Do you remember the jingle?
No, but I remember the legs.
It's who wears short shorts?
Oh, that's right.
If you dare wear short shorts, Nair for short shorts.
We were probably like 10 when that was happening.
I'll never forget
Man,
it.
Advertising works.
It really does. And so this is what started to happen. So women's fashion started to change in the 1920s and kind of like the flapper area. And this is when like sleeveless dresses first started to come into fashion. If I want to say it was like in the 40s or 50s was like the first bikini. So then pubic hair became a thing. And in the 50s and 60s and going forward, shorts dresses started to get shorter and shorter. And so this is why it started to be a conversation. So prior to that, barring, ancient cultures where it was like a sign of cleanliness or a sign of class, we're talking just, what we think of like frontier times, women in completely non-functional giant dresses,
right.
like this kind of stuff. Like nobody's seeing.
Right. Or just work clothes, depending on.
Exactly.
But still covered. Yeah.
Exactly. Always covered. So nobody's seeing your body hair. So it's not until fashion starts to change that now it becomes a thing. But what's really interesting is that what all the stories that I read kind of point to is that Gillette started to make razors specifically for women. Because the fashion trends started to change. And so they noticed an opportunity for marketing.
Isn't their thing the best a man can get, though?
Yeah, but they make women.
The best a man can get.
Well, and then there's the Venus. Venus is Gillette, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that
was like the original bougie one, too.
It is, dude. I still use a Venus.
I use a Chic.
Oh, do you?
I do.
Do you just use whatever Jamal uses? Or do you have your own?
No, I have my own. I have a Lady Chic.
Oh, a Lady Chic. So Gillette started to market razors specifically to women, and I feel like if I were to have to pinpoint it based on everything that I've read, and I could be wrong, but what I've read is that this kind of was like the beginning of the modern era of women feeling this pressure to remove their body hair. Fashion started to change, and all of a sudden body hair was visible, and this huge company that made razors for men saw an opportunity. Women are the major consumers, right? Like we consume most household items.
Yeah.
And
buying decisions for even men's products.
Exactly. Yeah. So they saw an opportunity for, to increase their bottom line and started to market razors to women. And that's kind of where it all started.
Is that maybe also then the beginning of gendered marketing? Like in terms of because razors it's not different.
No, you can use whatever the fuck you want.
It's like, it's pink, but it's the same thing.
Don likes to use my razor on his face all the time because it's softer. I'm like, fuck out of here. You're ruining all my razors.
Do you remember when Bic came out with the lady pens for lady hands? Oh my God. They made pens for her. That was like 2 years ago or something.
Get the fuck out of here.
I know. Which is like fine marketing, except that it always costs more. So there's the problem.
What was different about it? Was it slimmer?
I don't know. Probably not. Probably pink in some way.
Was it glittery? Yeah.
Ellen had a whole thing about having new special pens for her lady hands.
Oh my God.
So what's your body hair stitch?
So I've done a lot of thinking about this recently, especially since we started Nasty Women Radio, because I have been getting a lot of questions about body hair. This is actually a topic that a lot of people have asked us to cover. And I don't know where I am personally yet, because I think that my shit is just too deeply layered.
Well, you have a cultural aspect to it. I mean, outside of there's a cultural aspect to the sexism around it, but then also
just having had more body hair than like pretty much all the girls around me at any given time. And just growing up in a culture where women are very preoccupied with their body hair. All of the Persian women that I know, like growing up, like all of the, the older generation Persian women they were always removing their hair. There were all different ways to remove your hair. They were all getting, like, when electrolysis kind of first came into fashion, they were all doing electrolysis on their face. My sister's in the process of doing laser on her face. And I never really, like, growing up, I was just like, God, I would never want to do that because it just seems like a lot of work.
Yeah.
But what I didn't realize at the time, because I was young and naive, was that as you get older, the hair gets darker and thicker. And so now that I'm 35 and I just have these random, like really long black hairs that grow out of my face that you don't see for some reason until they're like 2 inches long.
Yeah.
Like, where are they when they're just sprouting? Why don't we see, do they just grow really fast, or are they only visible to the human eye when they reach like a certain length? Like, what is that? But now that that's happening to me, I'm like, oh, I get it. And maybe that would be something that I would consider. But why am I considering it? Like, why does my bikini line bother me so much? Like, why is that, why do I like shave my legs every day? Like, why are these things that I'm concerned with? And I think it's because I want it, because I like the aesthetic better. I don't think that it's because of external pressure, because I'm not embarrassed of it. And I wouldn't like hide because of it. Like I had like basically my bikini line is like on full blast right now, because I'm getting a wax today. Actually, I'm getting waxed today. But you gotta wait. There's that in between process. But I've worn a bikini every day. I haven't hidden. I'll wear shorts to the gym without having shaved my legs. I'll do pull-ups at the gym sometimes and then go like, oh, that's armpit hair.
Yeah.
Didn't know about that. So I'm not ashamed of it or embarrassed of it, and I don't keep myself from showing up because of it, but I do like removing it.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of leaning more towards like this is an autonomous thing.
Yeah.
And this is less of an issue, but it is difficult to unpack because there is a lot of cultural stuff sort of layered on top of it.
Yeah. I remember hearing about that. I had a friend in junior high who was Persian that had a giant, like, one eyebrow. And it was a whole conversation about being Persian and what that meant about her facial hair. And I don't remember the whole thing, but I knew that was a big deal. And she was being raised by a single father, and it was a big deal to him that she not remove it.
Same.
As like a cultural signifier, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, I don't have any of that. I just have like, you're supposed to remove your hair, because you're a woman. And my hair is like your friend Rachel's. It's like wispy blonde bullshit that I could like grow.
Bitch.
I know. I could grow all of my hair out for like 3 years and it would still be like just like adorable. So
just slow in the wind.
Like a little, those little feathers on baby birds.
Mine would cut you.
Yeah.
Mine's like, yeah.
It has gotten a little bit darker as I've gotten older, but even saying that feels like some bullshit because it's like, so it's light brown.
Oh, yes, it's not blonde, it's light brown. Fuck out of here.
I know. I did, though, for a winter once because I was having the same exploration. I'm always doing this, too, with makeup, with my hair, with the way that I present myself. Like, who is this for? I want to make sure it's for me. And I keep coming back to genuinely all of the, like, the things gendered girl, like makeup and hair removal and stuff. I really like.
I like them too.
And I love the feeling of being clean shaven, but I tried to go a whole winter without shaving anything. And and so nobody's seeing it but my husband. My husband doesn't think that he gets to say so about my body. And I also am like fully not concerned that he would not be attracted to me if I made any changes in what I do with my body. And I like it. That said, I don't like shaving my bush. And that came up with my husband when we first got together, because I did. And he was like, he's the best. He was like so cautious how to approach this. But he was like, I think that that situation is great. And I want you to know that if you're doing that for me, that's not something that is important to me. But if that's not the case.
Hi, Lola.
If that's not the case, if it's for you, then no big deal. So I don't anymore, but I like to keep it low. I like to keep a buzz, and I use electric clippers.
Do you use Jamal's clippers?
No.
He doesn't. I use the same ones John uses on his face. I use on my bush.
No, I would never.
I do, and I don't tell him. But I don't think he cares. Honestly. I don't think he cares.
I mean, we don't go in the same place.
Well, you know me, I am into full bush. I'm all about full bush. But I like to keep the sides tidy.
Yeah.
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 I like to keep the sides nice and tidy.
I get real there's another thing I'm trying not to say. Like a thing that we used to say is like being OCD about something, meaning you can't say that anymore.
Can you say anal? Can you say anal? Because anal retentive is like the...
Like tight butt cheeks. I think that's okay.
I think you can say anal.
But
I use any opportunity to say the word anal. So. But yes, you are not supposed to say OCD, right? Mm-hmm. Because this OCD is a real disorder. Yeah, that if you don't have, it's not okay for us to be like, oh my gosh, I'm so OCD because I like, to have my socks rolled a certain way. Like, that's not OCD. It's like
describing a body type as anorexic when that's a disease. And that's
just
what
because they're
super
skinny.
Sensitive about. Yeah. So I'm neurotic about keeping it low. I want it so tight. I want just like a buzz, like a zzz.
No, I want mine to be like, sometimes when I go to the gym, because I don't wear underwear. So sometimes, like, if I'm wearing shorts to the gym that are really thin, my bush will like peek through, like the hairs will poke out, and I like it.
Well, I like that for you. I cannot not wear underwear. I want it all swaddled. I want it cupped. I want it protected by this thin layer of fabric, but I want it to be held in.
But you know what? Your way is actually functional, because recently I put on a pair of jeans without wearing underwear, which I don't recommend, because I know a lot of people don't wear underwear with jeans. I don't prefer the seam. Yeah. Like the denim seam, but I was just trying them on in my bedroom, and I wasn't sure like what I was going to be wearing. So I was like, let me just try this outfit on, and I zipped up my bush. Yeah, it wasn't a good day for me. It was not so this is going back to why cave people removed their body hair.
So that their jeans wouldn't eat them.
Zip up their bushes.
That's exactly why.
Okay. So, and I like Bush. I think Bush is back. I'm into it. I think that we are in an era where whatever women choose to do with their pubic hair it's a lot looser than it used to be. There with a lot of ideas that we get about like how things are supposed to be, particularly with women's bodies and sexuality, come from porn. And so as porn changes, our sort of ideas about that change. So like back in the 60s and 70s, it was all Bush all day. It was Bush City. And then in the 80s and 90s, we started seeing more, we started seeing Brazilian waxing. This was a thing that like really, and we started seeing it sort of like in pop culture. They did an episode about it on Sex and the City. There's like all this. Now we're starting to see in porn all these women, and in Playboy and in Hustler, all these women depicted with like no body hair. And so this kind of determines, it's really interesting to me culturally how like Cleopatra determined what was in vogue for the ancient Romans, and in today's world, porn depicts what is, what's good, for women's bodies. And so we kind of got to this place where we felt like, oh, well, that's what a mons pubis is supposed to look like. Yeah. Yeah. A woman is supposed to look like whatever the fuck she looks like. And so I think that, I wasn't alive, in that first wave of feminism where, it was like this defiant act of like not shaving body hair. But my opinion of that would be that it was in an attempt to reject the misogynistic idea that this is a beauty standard for women. Yeah. That this is a way that it's okay for men to grow hair, but it's not okay for women. But we both naturally grow it on our bodies. So like, why is it socially acceptable for one, gender and not the others? Yeah. So that as an act of defiance, like I have great respect for that. I have great respect and admiration for that. But I like when my skin is smooth.
I do too. I just want all the options for everybody. After I did my own like exploration around it, then I started asking guy friends, like, don't you just want to like put your deodorant into your armpit and not just like smash it on your matted hair? Like, isn't that more appealing? My dad shaves because he's a cyclist, so like for speed or something.
Swimmers too.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we should have all of these options. I think any gender should be able to have a mustache and have that not be noteworthy unless you're just like noticing that you think that's attractive or whatever. That's the only thing I really note in my life.
Well, Frida Kahlo, whose birthday was yesterday.
Yes, happy birthday.
Happy birthday. She's a fucking queen. Yeah. She was a huge proponent of body hair.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
she's famous for having that unibrow,
Yeah.
sometimes a mustache.
And I think that's awesome. And I
she's
don't want
fucking
that for
beautiful.
myself. And I want all of the choices for everyone. You know,
Yeah.
that's where like, it's not actually that complicated. What is it that we want? We want all the options, you know, and to get to make the choices for ourselves.
I think what's important is that we look at historically, you know, the evolution of like body hair on women, that we don't wrap up our body hair, just as we teach, you know, our clients and our readers and listeners not to wrap up their body fat into like their self-worth. The same going with body hair, right? Like as long as it doesn't stem from shame,
Yeah.
I think that whatever you choose is fine. So, you know, if you feel like you need to remove a mustache because you're ashamed of it, that's something that I would encourage you to unpack. But, you know, if you think like, okay, well, I just don't like it, I don't like the way it looks, like that's fucking okay.
Yeah. Does it tickle? Do you not like the feeling of it? Great.
It doesn't make you less of a feminist if you shave your legs.
No. No.
It doesn't. I think this is confusing for a lot of people, right?
But it's because not actually confusing. It's like we just don't want new rules. We want to make the choices for ourselves. It is not confusing at all. And it's so, like, I want to pull my hair out when I see these questions because I'm just like...
Literally.
Because it's like, no, I'm not. You don't get to decide the new rules for what I get to do with my body. I'm not looking for a new set of rules that I'm calling empowering, like that woman that was mad at you on Facebook the other day because you used the word fuck. And was that it?
She said I was trash.
Yeah, she said you were trash because you used the word fuck, and that's not women's empowerment.
Because
and no, Nagar Fanuni does not represent women's empowerment for everyone. For some people, you're like the pinnacle, and for some people, you're like not the thing, which is the idea. Like we all get to do our own thing, and that's going to be different things for different people, which means that like she's allowed to think that you're...
I don't see how it's my problem though that she thinks I'm trash. That's the part that I don't get.
She should have thought that privately.
Yeah, she
and then maybe also sat with like, why am I feeling so judgmental and wanting to call a woman trash? Like that's her shit. But she's allowed to sit around in her shit if she needs to, and she's allowed to not find you empowering and inspiring. And that doesn't mean that she has the better idea for what women's empowerment looks like today.
She can have a different idea for her of what empowers her.
Yeah,
and it doesn't have to be me. And I'm just excited because I didn't know I was trash. And now I know. And
what a thing to call someone. Like, what does that mean about your life and your person if you're sitting around calling women trash?
Well, and she said trash like 17 times.
Yeah.
Just trash. And I was like, I'm a literal heap of garbage. You know, and my response to her was, have you ever thought about breaking up your paragraphs to make your comment easier to read? Because it was like a text block.
Like, I just like see a blur of trash.
Trash.
Well, and also, you know, I considered being less judgmental.
Yeah, her whole thing was like, this isn't classy, this isn't empowering. And I think that we get to decide for ourselves what is classy, what is elegant, what is acceptable, what is attractive. And it's really important.
If we give a fuck about classy and elegant and attractive, like you might not.
I don't have to care about those things. I don't have to be concerned with that. And that's the beauty of autonomy. So to be a feminist, to be an intersectional feminist in today's world isn't about whether or not you remove your body hair. It's about whether or not you are standing in your autonomy. You're making autonomous choices for your body, and you're doing them because, you know, you want those things, and maybe you're going to change your mind, and sometimes you're going to want other things, and all of that is okay.
Yeah. Time out. Do you want to be on the podcast really quick? Yeah.
Is she going to say I'm a nasty woman? I'm Lola, and I'm a nasty woman.
There's nobody here. It's just me and Nagar. So if you decide that you want me to take it out, I can. Come here. Say hi.
Hi, Lola.
So we're talking about if women should have to remove their body hair or wear makeup, or if there's like any rules about being a woman. Do you think that there are? No. Who do you think should get to make the rules about what a woman does with her body? Women, like the woman that has the body. That's awesome. What do you think about like judging other women's choices? Do you think that's something we should do with ourselves? What maybe should we do instead? I don't know. Find better things to do with our time, probably. Thanks.
Color.
There you have it.
There you go. It's your own funkin' choice.
It's your own funkin' choice.
Woo! All right. Okay, so my opinion on body hair is that if you have it, more power to you. If you remove it, more power to you. It's your fucking body hair. Do whatever the fuck you want to do with it.
Yeah, same. And like, try to do that without caveats too, because I feel like that happens a lot where it's like, yeah, have body hair, but wear this kind of deodorant, or like, you know, do a cap sleeve at least, or what, you know, whatever. Like, here's some way that I'm going to affirm your choice, but also ask you to modify it for my comfort.
Yes.
And I don't, no.
Yeah, it's fine to have body hair as long as I don't have to see it, is the rhetoric. Right? Like, do whatever you want with your own body as long as I don't have to see it. And that's just total bullshit. Wear whatever the fuck you want. Do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, and close your eyes if you're bothered.
Listen, I shave my knuckles. Okay?
You shave your knuckles?
Shave my knuckles.
I just shave
Not
my
all
big
the
toe.
time. Huh?
I just shave my big toe.
I shave all my toes.
Wow.
Yeah, I got a lot of hair, dude. And when I started filling up my forearm with tattoos, I started getting in the habit of shaving just this forearm. Because I liked the appearance of my tattoos without the hair.
When are you doing all
I don't
this
shave the
shaving
other
if
arm.
you're not showering?
Oh, I only shave when I shower, which now that it's summertime is more often, unfortunately, because I sweat more.
Yeah.
I actually get like really, really super sweaty,
Like
and so I have
funky.
to, I have to shower more often, which is still not every day, but and I have to, I don't have to, I choose to shower more often, and I choose to wash my hair every like 5 days as opposed to like every 7 or 8, because it is getting sweatier, and so it's like getting matted and like dirtier sooner than it would in the wintertime. Sometimes if I'm just like adamantly like not going to take a shower, but I want to shave my legs, I'll sit at the edge of the tub and just shave my legs in the tub.
Yeah, I like that.
Without showering. Yeah.
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 And I have a whole ritual around it. I shave my legs twice with shaving cream and then with like conditioner. And then I do an oil and let that soak. And then in the winter I do a body butter and let that soak.
You have to.
I'm a princess.
Shaving really dries out your skin is the thing.
Yeah.
This is actually why I've heard a lot of women say that they really like laser, because their skin is a lot softer because they don't have to shave anymore.
Well, and I saw the other day, do you follow Amber the Activist?
No, but maybe I should.
She's great. She also does create consent culture. She talks a lot about rape culture, and she travels and speaks about creating consent culture. And she's a sex worker. She's a really interesting person. But she posted something the other day. She has lots of body hair. She lets it all grow. And she was talking about how in some cultures, and I know in some Native American cultures, your hair is thought to like hold your wisdom or whatever. Like there's some...
yes.
Yeah. And so she was talking about like, what does it mean if we're cutting off our pussy hair? If that's like what... And I was like, am I cutting off my pussy wisdom? Am I keeping a short buzz and neglecting the wisdom?
Well, what if you buzzed it and then put it all in a little jar? And then you just...
like when I had to call you because I was watering my plants with Mincy's water, like you said.
Yes, that's exactly what it's going to be like. Yeah, exactly that. Like you've got this jar of pussy hair wisdom.
Oh my God.
You know? Maybe sometimes you just need to like hold on. Maybe that's why I always hold my mound.
That's where all your wisdom is?
I stroke my bush. And sometimes I'll be like on the phone with my husband, like on FaceTime, and he'll call me out on it. He's like, are you stroking your bush right now? I'm like, how did you know? He's like, you make a face. I have a tell, apparently. I have a bush stroking tell.
Well.
This is all important information for you, dear listener. Don't you know?
You too
Shit.
Can have these habits if you'd like.
You too can have a bush, and you too can have a hairless labia.
Yeah, whatever you want to do.
A hairless
Or
vulva.
a tight little buzz.
It's all up to you. But listen, if you are shaving the shit out of that thing and you hate the bumps and the razor burn and the ingrown hairs and you're doing it because you think that's what's acceptable, you don't have to suffer, okay? No tenemos que sufrir. We don't have to suffer.
No. You can do
We
whatever
don't have
you want.
to suffer for beauty. Beauty is not pain.
No.
Despite what they would have you believe.
No, and there is plenty of diversity in terms of what people are attracted to and interested in and even like super into. So it's not necessary.
No, not at all. So,
and to be honest, if that's like a deal breaker for a potential lover, that's not a lover I want.
Nope.
So there's that.
Not at all. All right. Why do we never know how to end the show? Why are we always like,
Because we're professionals.
Well, according to that woman on Facebook, I wasn't professional.
Oh, yeah.
That's the other thing she said, because I was wearing a shirt that had the word fuck on it. Mm-hmm. And so made me not professional.
She also said that she hopes that your children don't see your website. And I was like,
she did say that. And I was like, children. Oh, okay. Maybe she definitely hasn't heard of Nasty Women Radio.
No. But if you're listening, we're so excited that you're branching out of your comfort zone and thinking about Nagar's Lady Bush instead of her trashiness, per you. And with that, thank you for joining us for this week of Nasty Women Radio. If you have topics, concerns, comments, questions, anything at all, you can hit us up at nastywomenradio@gmail.com or either of us on Instagram at Nagar Fanuni and at I am Erin Brown. Talk to you next time.